There's an old saying, practice makes perfect. It's certainly the case with piano, but also in life. 11-year-old TIANA is learning that lesson. So are her parents, Bill and Donna Bray.
Aww.
Together, they're finding out what it's like to be a family, a second time around. Already, they've accumulated a lot of memories, snapshots of trips, vacations, and family pets. Hard to believe their story only begins 3 years ago.
I'll be 63 in November, and Bill is 66. And I, as a teenager, always wanted to adopt a child. And at that time, it wasn't really a popular concept.
In the meantime, Bill and Donna became parents of 2 and grandparents of 5. Kids continued to play a role in their lives and ministry as producers of the Crossroads children's program, TQ. But the desire to rescue a child was still in Donna's heart.
What is pure religion and undefiled? But to look after the orphans, the widows, and the fatherless. And that just seemed to really grow in me. And I think the other thing that really grew in me too was the expression, well, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it different. We made mistakes with our children, and God was gracious. My children are serving the Lord. Our grandchildren are all being raised in the Lord. But we learned a lot about parenting.
Donna nearly lost her life in a head-on collision 6 years ago. She was forced to give up work. But then she found another job. What would be her and Bill's biggest to date, to foster a child.
So I kind of dragged my heels on the situation, but she was persistent. And I said to myself, you know what, one thing, she's always had an awful lot of love to give. We agreed with parameters that it would be a little girl. We agreed on 8 years old. When they presented us a child, that we would both have to feel a confirmation that it was the right thing to do for that particular child.
They took courses at their local Children's Aid Society to prepare them for the journey ahead. Walking alongside them was their social worker, RONNIE Littlewood.
Oh, we see a number of older couples, and we're always welcoming them. If they have the energy and they have the health, then we absolutely invite them in.
Bill and Donna had taken in several girls when they met 8-year-old TIANA.
Then I got the phone call, and at work, Bill, there's a little girl, and she told me about this little girl, and I just felt right away. I said, well, yeah, let's do this. And so I came home, and I came through the side door, and when I came through, there was a little hat sitting on the post, the rail post. And I looked at that hat, and I thought to myself, that hat belongs here. It was like that strong. That was me. I was, that hat belongs here. And then, at the top of the stairs, this girl jumps out, and she goes, "Hi, Bill." And I heard the Lord say, save her life, she won't take another hit. How do you save someone's life? And it just became apparent to me that the other kids have came, they stayed for, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, and then they left. But this was a call to save someone's life, and I just felt the only way that, any practical way, is that we adopt her.
He is Mr. Practicality. And so I knew, okay, it was God. And from that moment on, I never looked back. Yeah. First time I've ever been submissive.
There's always a start, right?
There's always a start.
Okay, you want to show me your room?
Sure.
But no one could have been more surprised by their decision than TIANA. In her 8 years, she'd had many temporary homes. She never thought this would be her final destination.
Well, how can that happen? I already have parents.
And how did they explain it to you?
Well, they said that they adopt them, then adopt me, then that would make me theirs and not my birth mom and dad's, because they couldn't express their love. They just expressed it in pain. and hurtfulness.
And so you knew Bill and Donna were different.
Yes. I knew that they would actually try to love me and actually try to express it better.
Her room is full of many expressions of love and affection. But making room in her heart was another challenge.
Yes, it was very hard to try to trust them and try to love them, because there's been a lot of other people I had to do it with. So I thought that if I had to love more, I would not love the others just as much.
Right.
Yeah.
So you didn't understand that you can love someone unconditionally.
Yeah.
Or that there's more room in your heart than you thought.
Yeah.
Their journey wasn't a fairy tale. There were lots of realities to overcome. But like their previous children, Bill and Donna used the Bible as their parenting manual.
That's always been a hard one for all of these kids, that they seem to think that they are their actions, and sometimes their actions are not good because they've been messed up by adults.
Yeah.
They've been messed up and scarred by adults. And then they react in wrong ways, and then think, oh, I can remember TIANA punching herself when she realized that she made mistakes. We said, well, hold it, just a minute, we'll work this out another way. We forgive you, we love you, and when we're disciplining you, it's not because we don't love you, it's because we do love you, and we want to get out of this seemingly bottomless pit that you've been found in.
It's 24/7 dealing with their thinking and trying to change their thinking from things that they have been robbed from in innocence and in childhood, and giving them the perspective that God is much greater than where they're at.
Their choice to adopt touched many, including Ronnie Littlewood.
Somebody that he can
She knew TIANA's story better than anyone, a story that couldn't have had a happier ending.
I was there the day they adopted her, the judge, and we were in the courtroom, and there was lots of crying, mostly on my part, finalizing the adoption. That's the creme de la creme, knowing that everything you did, paid off, and you see these families go away from the system forever and just be like everyone else.
Even though it took a leap of faith, a lot of faith, the Brays say adopting TIANA was one of the best decisions they've ever made. Their obedience to an unlikely call has forever changed them.
There's a scripture in Isaiah that says that if you take care of the orphans and the widows, the promise in Isaiah is that you will become like a well-watered garden and a fountain whose waters fail not. And I found that I feel more youthful. I act more youthful. I have no aches and pains anymore. My body's more flexible, and I'm just taking God at His word.
We're having lasagna for supper.
In 3 years, TIANA has learned a lot: to trust, and that there are no limits to God's love. And though she's growing older, she's discovering the joy of being a child. So have Bill and Donna.
I would just like to really encourage people our age that are looking around and saying, God promises us that we will be fruitful in our later years. And to me, this is the greatest time of my life, to look into the eyes of a child who doesn't have a father, who has many foster homes. And then you look at a couple like us, who God has invested mightily in our lives with His Word and His presence and His reality. We have lots to give, and we give it to God.
Not everyone will have the call to adopt, but they say everyone can make an investment into the life of a child. There are over 9,000 foster kids in Ontario alone, many of them TIANA's age.
People think of leaving a legacy when they die, but really, we leave a legacy every day we're alive. That's the legacy that follows us.
TIANA's future is looking bright. She says she would like to be a missionary when she grows up. Still, she hasn't forgotten where she's come from, and the other kids out there waiting for a home.
I would want them to know that there's somebody watching them and taking care of them and has a plan for them in their life. So it's not just all crappy and all that, but there's going to be, they have a purpose on this earth, and God has something for them in the future. And not to keep thinking back on what their parents did, but look further down the road and not behind.
Yeah, so your road looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In St. George, Ontario, Denise, Lodde, 100 Huntley Street.